Cole, are you a host? Do you have your buttons?
Let's see. I don't know. When I click on share screen, oh yeah, I must be because it's allowing me to share my screen.
Yes. Okay.
Let me pull up the chat so I can see that.
All right, we'll give it another minute. See if we can get anybody else in here.
There we go.
All right, let's get going. All right, happy Sunday, everybody. Thanks for joining us again. Nicole's going to take over here shortly. Just wanted to say as front of the group, I thought we had a really good meeting last time, as we got a lot of good questions from the group, so it took us on a bunch of different directions. So that is really the goal of this, is not just to tell you what to do, but to see how it's working for you and what we can do to kind of assist along the way and help you out with everything. Caspar is calling you out on some recipe.
That's my fault. I completely forgot to upload it after that chat. I will definitely add it. I will do it as soon as we finish, so I won't forget this week. Sorry about that, guys.
All right, well, we're recording, and Nicole, you've got it. It's yours. I'll watch the chat for you and get people in who are popping in a little bit late.
All right, great. Let me go ahead and pull up my presentation and we will get ready to roll. All right, guys, happy October, happy Sunday. Let's jump into it. So tonight, if y'all saw the post, a little preview about what we're going to talk about. Let's see. Okay, so we're going to talk about a couple of things that we've got going on this month. I know homecoming either just happened or it's about to happen for y'all. We've got Halloween coming up. So we're going to be talking about those things, how to make good choices, how to plan ahead. We're going to talk about candy because Halloween's around the corner. And I know you're about to get a ton of candy, a ton of treats from school. If you don't already have the bowls of Halloween candy sitting around the house, we'll talk about navigating candy, what too much sugar can do to us and why and how to navigate that. We're going to do some label comparisons because I know last month when we chatted, we talked about some packaged products and foods and snacks that we all really like, but we're going to talk about how to read them and what is, how things compare to what are things that are labeled as health foods, how they compare to things that are labeled junk food and how to navigate that. We're going to talk about some hidden sugars and things that are again labeled as healthy foods. Sorry if y'all can hear my dogs barking. And just how to start looking at labels. And so that when you guys start picking things out at the store or helping your parents pick things out at the store, how to look for the right things, the healthy things. So let's jump into Halloween and homecoming. Are you going to Halloween? Do you have a party, homecoming, a before or after party? When is it compared to practice and how we can prepare for it? So if you know that you have practice the morning after homecoming or the morning after a Halloween party, it's something that y'all need to start thinking about, right? Making smart choices. We've talked about sleep before and how important your sleep is and getting good sleep. And we'll jump into in the next couple of slides how sugar and how bad foods can affect your sleep. So it may not have been something you've even had to think about in the past, but maybe this year it's something you want to start thinking about. If you know that, you have an event that you've been training really hard for, why throw that away for something that you can prepare for? So just start thinking about those things in advance, making the smarter choices before big parties, big events. I want you to be able to go and enjoy those things. Obviously, they happen once a year, but also being mindful of, how you're going to feel the next day. Because a lot of times we can go out and enjoy ourselves, but if we're not going to feel great and you have a meet or you have practice the next day, you want to make sure you're making the right choices. So making sure these nights you're still staying super hydrated. Um, the next morning, starting your day with a really good breakfast, even if you're tired or you maybe not feel great because of food you had the night before, starting fresh the next day with the good foods is going to put you ahead of the game and making you feeling better. So just start thinking about those things, especially as we start getting into those holiday months with Halloween, Thanksgiving, Christmas. All of that's going to come up really, really, really soon. So I want y'all to start kind of thinking about what kind of choices you need to make ahead of time, because it's all going to start snowballing and making you feel good or bad, depending on when practice is, when a meet is. So staying on top of it, just being mindful to keep that in the back of your head as we approach these holidays. Okay. Now, speaking of Halloween, I want y'all I know we've talked about sugar in the past, and I know we've posted on social media about navigating good sugars or natural sugars versus added or fake sugars. So let's talk about the effects of too much candy. I know it's Halloween's in a couple of weeks. So let's talk about it. So we've got a couple effects of what, sugar can do to us. So there's a difference between real sugar and added sugar, or sugar substitutes, fake sugars. So one is the added sugars. That can be a natural sugar or a fake sugar or a sugar substitute. It doesn't really matter, but it's meaning that it's added in addition to whatever the source of the real sugar is coming from. So it's just packing in extra sugar that may not be needed. So I know we've talked about going to Smoothie King and ordering a smoothie. If you order it skinny, I think it's how Smoothie King brands it. If you order it skinny, it just takes away the added sugar. So if you order a banana strawberry smoothie from Smoothie King, the banana and the strawberry will be packing in a lot of natural sugars. If you don't order it skinny, they're going to be throwing in a bunch of added sugars, regardless if they're real or fake. It's just doubling. Now the fake sugars, they are not, so the natural sugars, the way they process through your bloodstream is a little bit more level. So if you're eating an apple or a banana or something, you're getting a lot of natural sugars there, but it's coming into your body natural. It's going released through your bloodstream at an even pace, where if it's a fake sugar, it's dumping into your body at a rate where you're going to find those peaks and valleys of the sugar crash or sugar high and then sugar crash. And that's where you get the effects of maybe you feel dizzy, shaky. You may have like a hard time concentrating in school or concentrating on a task, and you're feeling a little just lethargic. That could be from a sugar crash. If you're getting a headache, you're having a sugar withdrawal caused by dehydration, caused by too much sugar. Again, the peaks and the valleys causes these headaches. Again, the sugar high and crash, that comes from too much sugar at once. You get the rush, and then because it's not evenly dispersed through your bloodstream, you get that crash really quickly. And so you can get, I know we talked last month about maybe around 10 o'clock in the morning, if you start having a hard time concentrating in school, your breakfast or that snack after breakfast may have had too much added sugar in it. Maybe you had a bowl of cereal or a Pop-Tart or something really sugary with breakfast. You're having that shock come 10 o'clock, or that crash come 10 o'clock in the morning. And so you're having a hard time staying awake. It can also cause irritability and trouble focusing. So we want to really be careful of what kinds of sugars you're taking in. Candy is going to be all of the added and all of the fake sugars. So not taking away your candy. I know it's Halloween time and I want to eat some candy myself, but it's just being mindful and keeping yourself in check with how much you eat. Maybe allot yourself a couple pieces, some of your favorite things that you like, but then cut it off. Give yourself limits. So just be mindful of that as we get into Halloween and as we get into the holidays. If you have a dessert that you really like, enjoy it. I want you to enjoy it. I want you to like it, and enjoy this season, but also maybe keep yourself in check with how many pieces you have. How many slices of pie, how many slices of cake, how many pieces of Snickers bars do we have? Because all of these effects that you may feel, you may not be knowing it, but it's coming from possibly too much sugar in your diet. So just be mindful of that. So let's go into a label comparison of these sugars. So last week we talked about some health foods that are, sorry, I got to move some things on my screen so I can look at this with y'all. We talked about some brands and some products that I said could be health foods, and they're labeled as health foods and they're protein bars and whatnot. But then when you flip over and you look at that label, it's just as bad as a candy bar. So these are two labels. If you look at, I wish I had a little pointer to show y'all, but if you look at the one on the left with the bluish purple font, it says total calories or calories at the top, 250. The one in the black font says 260. Both of them are for one bar. We're comparing two bars. One's a health food, one's a candy bar. When you look at fat, one's 12 grams of fat. The one on the right, 7 grams of fat. When you look at total carbs, it's not that huge of a difference with 33 on the left and 40 on the right. But go above the protein, but below the carbohydrate, you'll see sugars. On the left, you see 27 grams of sugar. On the right, you see total sugars at 19. So we're only talking 8-gram difference. Now I'm going to show y'all what they are. The one on the left with 27 grams is a Snickers, which is 10 calories less than a Cliff Bar. The Cliff Bar has 19 grams of sugar. The Snickers is only 8 grams more. So I know last week we talked about everybody loves these Cliff Bars. They're not terrible. They're not the worst thing out there. You're still getting 11 grams of protein, which I know we talk a lot about protein, but I would never, ever consider a protein bar being 11 grams of protein. If you want a true protein bar or a protein supplement bar, you want 20 grams. So I know the Cliff Bar has their builder bar, which is going to be better. But if you're just getting, I think this is either the chocolate chip or maybe the peanut butter crunch one, the label that I cut out. It's really close to a Snickers bar, guys. It's only 10 calories more. It's only a few grams of fat and a few grams of carbs different. So when you're looking at things like this, that you're like, oh, well, this is my health bar. This is my protein bar. Try to compare it to like a Snickers because it's really not that different. So start looking at things like that. There's a couple bars out there that will be a little bit better as far as added sugars. That's something that I want you to really start focusing on. Added sugars so right under total, the Snickers bar doesn't have it because I'll guarantee that all 27 grams of those were added. On the Cliff Bar, it's showing that total sugars is 19, 18 of them were added. So meaning 1 gram of sugar naturally occurred. So when they say it's a naturally occurring sugar, that could come from a fruit, that could come from a vegetable, that could come from dairy. So in the Cliff Bar, maybe it's some milk or a dairy product or a grain. So they're getting maybe it's a natural honey's in there, but it's still only 1 gram. The added is the thing that we really want to keep an eye on. So I wanted to compare the Cliff Bar versus the Snickers because we talked a lot about the Cliff Bars last month. The next thing we're going to go into with the labels and the label comparison is we're going to talk about some health foods where you can find some hidden sugars, where they hide them in and they dress them up in a health food label. So that's just circling your total sugars comparison. Okay. So the first thing we're talking about is yogurt. So yogurts are a great source of protein, especially a Greek yogurt. Um, there are a ton at the grocery store. There's a ton of options out there. If you like yogurt, this is a place where, or this is a food item where they can hide a lot of added sugars. So the Chobani Greek yogurt flips, if you ever see them at the store, they come in a circle. Half of it is yogurt, and then the other half is usually a granola or some fruit or fruit and nuts or something, and you flip it over, you dump the dry into the yogurt and you shake it up, and it's labeled as this really healthy snack or breakfast thing or wherever you want to eat it. But when you're looking at this health food of a Greek yogurt flip, it has 17 grams of added sugars. Again, comparing it to that Snickers, the Snickers was 27. So that's really, really high. So there are several brands. So two brands, if you're looking for well, Nichole, what's a good option for me to have? I really like a brand by Oikos. It's the 000. It tastes really good. You can get it in any flavor. I really like the vanilla. I know we buy the berry every once in a while. It's 0 added sugar. There's another one called Too Good that only has 2 grams of sugar. It also comes in a bunch of different flavors. If you like yogurt, you don't have to drink or eat the plain non-fat and be really boring about it. You can get some yummy flavors, but I really want you to start looking at those labels of added sugar, because you may feel really tired or get some headaches and be like, but I ate everything really healthy today. Look at how much sugar was in your yogurt. So start looking at things like that. They also, because it's, we're talked about marketing. They market things and they try to get you, this is a health food. So even though it's labeled with, it's kosher certified, it's vegetarian friendly, it's non-GMO, no artificial flavors or preservatives, that's fine, but it still has all that artificial added sugars. The other thing is, because I know many of y'all will go to Smoothie King after practice or before practice, the muscle punch. Look at that arrow. It's 50 grams of added sugar. You're already getting 70 grams of sugar. There's 20 grams that are coming naturally, right? Because 70 and 50, 20 grams are coming naturally. But you have 50 added. That is absurd for a smoothie. You don't need to be, if you could make something like this at home with your bananas, some protein powder, some milk, strawberries, and blend it all together, and there's no way y'all would get 50 grams of added sugar. So be really mindful of those things and just take a peek at the label. Same thing, it shows you the ingredients. It's bananas, strawberries, non-fat milk, the turbinado. When you order things at Smoothie King skinny, they're taking away that turbinado. So turbinado is an added or fake alternative sugar. So we want to remove that and just get the sugars from your bananas and your strawberries. Y'all with me so far? Y'all have any questions about this? We have a couple more labels to go through. This isn't going to be a super long one, so I hope you all have some questions at the end, but I want to go through a couple more labels of these health foods that are labeled and dressed up all pretty to promote healthy lifestyles and healthy nutrition options, but they're just full of sugar. And you might as well eat the Snickers. All right, the next one, Kind Granola. So Kind makes some granola bars. They make a granola cereal. I think they make an oatmeal. They have a bunch of products. So the other thing you want to look at when you're looking at a label is the serving size. So you don't always have to have, don't weigh your things. If you don't have a food scale, it's not necessary, but to know, for y'all just to know, 65 grams is going to be somewhere between 1/4 of a cup and 1/3 of a cup of granola. So it's not a lot. It might be just enough to have with maybe some fruit and some yogurt, but if you're eating it like a bowl of cereal or something, you're probably going to have more than 1/4 of a cup or 1/3 of a cup. So keep that in mind when we go through this label. This is only 1/4 to 1/3 of a cup. This has 11 grams of total sugars and 11 grams of added, meaning nothing naturally occurred in this. It's all been added. all that sweetness is all coming just from fake added sugars. And the fake added sugars are the ones that it's not released evenly in your bloodstream. That dopamine rush comes high and then it fades really quickly. So you get that big rush and that big crash, leaving you feeling a little shaky, a little foggy, having a hard time concentrating. So again, these healthy things you want to really keep a check on.
Nichole.
I see some questions in the
Oh,
chat.
yep.
Light and fit, Sadie. I don't mind light and fit. I really don't. That's pretty low in added sugar. I think it's like 7 grams for one of their little containers. Correct me if I'm wrong if you have one. I think it's there. It's not terrible. It's not the worst for sure. It's not close to what that Chobani flip was. That one I don't mind at all. If you want to switch to one that, because I used to really like the light and fit before I started digging into my labels and reading them. Because I know light and fit, their Greek yogurt is really yummy. The Oikos, I find it to be just as good with less added sugar. So if you want to make a switch, but I don't mind the light and fit. I don't remember if it being that high. All right, Abby, is there a protein powder that you recommend to add into a smoothie you make at home? There are a bunch of protein powders out there that are great. I really like the Iconic brand, mainly because it's really easy access. I don't have to go to GNC. I don't need to go to Whole Foods and get it. I can find it at most grocery stores. It's not extremely expensive and it tastes really good. And the thing I want to point out, I don't know if we've mentioned this before, when you're looking for a protein powder is a protein supplement, meaning we know we've talked about our 3 macro groups. So your macros are your protein, your fat, and your carbs. And that's where your calories come from. So those grams of things equal your calories. If you're eating something that's supplementing one of those macros, so in this case, you're supplementing your protein intake, meaning you're not getting enough from your lean meats and your regular foods, so you want to add protein to make sure you're getting enough in your day. You want to make sure that supplement isn't full of sugar like we're talking about tonight, and it's also not full of carbs and fat. Because if you're eating something that's supplementing protein, but it also has a bunch of carbs and fat in it, you could be chewing something like a meal, like sitting down and having a meal and getting those calories and getting those grams of nutrients that way. So when you're looking at a label of a protein, you want to make sure there's very, very, very little, like 1 or 2 grams of sugar. You want to also know that it's low in carbs and fat. So I would say 5 grams or under, especially in fat. 5 grams or under in carbs, and then maybe 2 or 3 grams or lower in fat. And then you want it to be at least 20 grams of protein for that serving size. Just so, because if it's more than that on your fats and your carb side, you might as well sit down and have a meal of something where you can get all of those things. So, but I do really like the Iconic brand. I can find it at Rouse's. I think Winn-Dixie has it. But if you are shopping elsewhere and you want to shop around, make sure it's low fat, low carb, high protein, low sugar. Good? Good with questions this far? Okay, next label. Sweet Baby Ray's. So a lot of places that we find added sugars, added wasted calories, or sauces. If you open my refrigerator, we probably have more sauces than food right now. We love to dip in things, but you've got to find the right sauces. Barbecue sauce, ketchup, what else? Things like ranch, any kind of salad dressings. Those are all places where a lot of added sugars lie, but there are a bunch of brands out there that are really good. So for example, if you're looking at Sweet Baby Ray's, total sugars, 17 grams. I'm going to keep using the Snickers label as a comparison. The Snickers was like 20 grams or 26 grams. So this is only 2 tablespoons. So look right under nutritional facts, serving size, 2 tablespoons. This is like the size of a tablespoon, like my eyeball. So 2 of those is giving you 17 grams. You could have a whole Snickers bar for 26 grams. So use those things as a comparison. This is outrageous when you're using a barbecue sauce. So next time you pick out your dipping sauce. So some dipping sauces that are great, low sugar, 0 calories, 0 sodium, that are really clean, things like hot sauce, wing sauce, like Frank's wing sauce is really low. There are a couple brands of salad dressings and condiments out there, one of them being Primal Kitchen. Um, they make a really clean sauces and clean condiments. So be mindful of what you are squeezing on the side of your plate to dip chicken or dip anything in, because you could be dipping it in a Snickers bar. Okay. Let's see what's next. Next, Gatorade. So these are all, we're just going to go through a couple things that are hidden sugar traps. So Gatorade, I know I've mentioned before, if y'all do like sports drinks for hydration purposes, a Gatorade, a full bodied Gatorade, meaning not the zero, not the light. These simple sugars are going to be something that are fast acting. You're going to use them immediately. So if you're drinking that during a meet or something, is fine. But Gatorade is not something we should be just sipping on through the day. That's where it should be water, Gatorade Zero, because in one bottle of Gatorade, you are getting 48 grams of added sugar in one 12-ounce bottle. One bottle of Gatorade, 12 ounces, like this big. That's 48 grams. Anybody else is like mind blown by me reading that to y'all? Did you have any idea that there was that much sugar in one Gatorade? So be really mindful of the choices you're making as far as if they have the regular, should I get the zero? We're not worried about the calories. Yes, Kaden, wowza. We're not worried about the calories as much. I'm never worried about the calories for y'all's age, but it's where those calories are coming, getting the bang for your buck, making sure you're getting the good stuff. So we're not worried about you drinking the Gatorade Zero to limit your calories by any means. We're worried about all of the added sugar, because your Gatorade now, even though it's caffeine free, you're getting these added sugars where you're getting this huge rush, and then it's going to make you feel real lousy in probably 30 minutes. It's a lot of added sugar. So just start. So now you know where it is on a nutrition facts label. So next time you go to the store and you grab something out of the fridge, or you grab a cold drink out of the store, or you go to grab the sauce for your burger or your chicken sandwich, start taking a peek at that. Start helping your parents, whoever's doing the grocery shopping at your house, maybe take a trip with them to start kind of looking. Let me see if I have any more. I don't. So some other things some other places where you can get kind of tricked, where it's labeled as health food, but it is a slippery slope for sugars. Things like granola. I know we talked about the kind granola. So oatmeal, the instant oatmeal packets. I love oatmeal. Oatmeal is a fantastic, long burning, complex carb. It's perfect before a workout. It's perfect for a breakfast because it's going to keep you full. It's going to give you all this energy in the morning, because remember, carbs are our energy source. But those Quaker microwavable pouches that you just add water to, be really careful about which ones you buy, because if you flip it over, it may have up to 20 grams of added sugar in it. I know Quaker makes a sugar-free. I know they also make a fiber and protein mix. It comes in 3 different flavors, and I know this because we have them in our pantry right now. They come in 3 different flavors. They're low sugar and there's added protein into it. So that's always a great choice. Overnight oats is a great, if you buy just plain old fashioned oats, you can make yourself some overnight oats where you add maybe some honey or some maple syrup, which are both beautiful natural sugars that you could be adding in instead of getting all those artificial ones. Cereal, if you like cereal, I love cereal, but be really careful of the added sugars, because again, it could be just a candy bar covered in milk. What are some other things where you could find? So soft drinks we want to stay away from, some sauces, salad dressings, condiments, granolas, cereals, all of those breakfast bars, granola bars, protein bars. We want to really start looking at those labels because you may think I'm eating great. I had this great balanced breakfast. Why do I feel so lousy come 10 o'clock in the morning? You may have had too much sugar first thing. So I know because it's Halloween, there's sugar and there's candy everywhere. If we're going to be having a couple extra candy bars that we're used to right now because of the season, let's not take it in addition to our diets, to our healthy choices. Do you guys have any questions about the labels, about comparisons, about some things that you thought were healthy, and you want to, any questions about what we just went through? Anything, can I get some maybe requests for topics that y'all want to talk about in the coming months? Do you want to do something like this where we compare maybe fats or carbs or protein to protein? Did y'all like the comparison? Let it rip. What kind of questions y'all have? Talk to me. Nobody? Did the Gatorade blow y'all's mind? With 48 grams of sugar? Yes, yes, lots of yeses. I think this was good. Maybe we should do the same for fat. For sure. I feel like not fat and sugars are the same, but there's definitely good fats versus bad fats. So that would be a good idea as well to navigate. I know the post, I think, was it this past Tuesday or the Tuesday before? The social media Tuesday tip was about good fats and bad fats. So we can maybe do that next month and talk about what's a good fat, what's a bad fat, how to navigate it, and why. Sadie, what are some granolas that I recommend? So a couple of the brands that I like, most granolas are going to have some added sugar. That's just par for the course. When we're looking at a cereal or granola, there's going to be a little added. But some of the brands that I don't mind, one of them is Purely Elizabeth. It's a white bag with yellow font. I think it might change depending on the flavor you like. The original's good. I think for a third of a cup is maybe 6 grams, 5 or 6 grams of added sugar, maybe 4, maybe 5 total, 4 added. I can't remember. I don't mind that one. But again, sometimes those, be careful just because I say I like Purely Elizabeth. If you go get the Purely Elizabeth, dark chocolate cinnamon crunch, that might be higher than the original in added sugar or just sugars in general. So always be mindful to take a peek on that added sugar line. Purely Elizabeth, I don't mind. The Bear Naked, I think it's an orange bag and has a black bear on it. That one's pretty good as well. And those are 2 of my go-to. I think I just bought the Love Crunch. That wasn't terrible either. They were all about 5 or 6 grams or under. 5 or 6 grams is kind of my limit for added sugars in a serving size. You know, in your serving size, maybe more than a third of a cup. So keep that in mind as well when you're looking at serving sizes. When you flip it over and look, and it says a third of a cup, 6 grams of added sugar. What if you're having a full cup? You're getting more grams, right? It adds up. So just be mindful of that. But the Purely Elizabeth, Love Crunch, and Bear Naked are some of the brands that I like right now. And there may be some better ones out there. I know Kashi for cereal is a pretty good one. Kashi. That's usually a pretty clean label. And when I say clean label, I mean ingredient wise. When you're looking at the ingredients, it's all clean, less added, less fake stuff, more real ingredients. I think I answered all the questions in the chat. We talked about the protein, the yogurts, fats, maybe chatting about, and granolas. Anyone else? Coach, you have any questions? Anything to say?
No, I think everything is
Anyone-
good.
Okay, good. I do want to ask, did anybody, I know we talked about last month making smarter choices at school and what snacks we're going to have. Did anybody try those things we talked about? Try changing what we were having for breakfast or start changing? Has anybody made any changes since we've been chatting and notice any difference in how they feel and how they feel in the pool? Have they changed? Has anybody changed their pre-practice snack and notice a difference? New energy levels? Anybody have anything to share if they've changed anything with their nutrition? Love it. Drinking more water. Great job, Brianna. Fills me up more, so I eat less. Yeah, so that Greek yogurt is full of protein. So the protein, like we've mentioned before, keeps us feeling fuller longer. So we can go a little bit longer and feel good. Been packing more after school snacks. I love it. Drinking a lot more water. I bet all that water is giving everybody some good natural energy high. Awesome, Mia. Those energy balls, huh? I know my Benevento girls have been getting down on the PB energy balls. Awesome. Well, good. I'm glad some of y'all are taking it into practice and making some changes. Because it really will make a difference. I know I can keep telling y'all the things to do, but if you are making the changes, I like to hear if it's working and if you can feel the difference. And if you guys haven't, people who haven't tried anything, start. Cool.
Yeah, I think we're good.
Awesome.
Even if some of them might not be saying it, but I hear it every now and then from them.
Good.
You know.
Good. 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 Good.
Especially
I promise I will post the pancake recipe. So you'll have that. It's really easy. It's 2 ingredients. We actually made some this morning for breakfast. Yes, please, and thank you. You got it. That's on me.
All right.
All right,
Thanks,
guys.
everybody.
Great Sunday night.
Yeah. Nichole, let's chat for a second about what's next.
Sure.
All right. Thanks, everybody. Have a good one.